Welcome back to our second episode of our Thirsty Sword Lesbians mini campaign with Even Footing Games Presents and Potions and Potpourri. I am Aaryn from Even Footing Games, and with me are some wonderful people that I will quickly have them introduce themselves to you, starting with my partner in EFG crime, Kayla.
That's me. I'm Kayla. I'm from the Potions and Potpourri podcast, mainly with my gal pal, also Thirst Master of the evening, Keisha. But you can also find me on Even Footing Games. I'm on the show, in the podcast, doing some stuff behind the scenes, directing the vibes over in the Discord. You can check it out, see for yourself, and find us in both of the places.
Yeah, if you can find me, it will most likely be in the wilderness.
So we can't find you.
That
Yeah,
was
exactly.
vaguely threatening.
I mean, we have bears, so
I mean,
being bears,
same, but like still.
It's quiet, so I'll talk.
Oh, I didn't know we were
Penny.
going in an order. Sorry.
I thought so too, but no one was.
I didn't
directing,
quite either.
so-
That's okay. Thank you for bringing it back around, Penny.
We never
So,
have
yeah.
structure.
My name is Penny. You can find me on social media in various places at Penny Lescroach. I talk a lot about tabletop role-playing games and sometimes other stuff that I like, and I run a Discord called Titterpig Academy, where I'll teach you role-playing games. And also, you can find me being a degenerate in the Even Footing Games Discord.
In their Discord, they're the headmistress.
That's fact.
I'm thinking dirty things right now. Anyway, hello. My name is Cedar the Barefoot. I am Cedar the Barefoot all across the social medias. I'm a variety streamer on Twitch. I am a content creator on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, and all the like and whatnot. Even the Sky That's Blue and the Thread one. You know, there's just so many. There's just so many social medias out there. I am on the Grinder and the Tinder, but like not as much these days. I'm tired. And also I have ADHD and anxiety, so I probably won't answer a whole lot of messages anyway. Anywho, I'm here, you're here, we're all here. I want to play a game.
And we're queer. Hey,
We're
Ryan.
here. We're
here,
queer.
We're queer.
We're fabulous. Don't mess with us. We're here. We're queer. We're fabulous. Don't mess with us.
Somebody had to say it.
It's like
Well,
we're
great.
a bunch of queerdos.
Yeah.
We're
so
all here.
Where did we leave off, Keisha?
So previously, we met the Paladins. We learned what their mission was. It's basically heading to a city called Lackluster, once Vivacia, to try and see what's going on there. It used to be a land of color and creation, and now it's literally drained to this dark, dull gray. No one seems to know exactly what has happened, but the paladins have been sent in to see if they can't figure it out and perhaps bring the color back, bring the life back to this place. They touched down onto right before what's called the Bramble. It was once a thriving forest, now just this like sad, decaying thicket basically that surrounds the city. They have to get through this first in order to get there. So they have started making their way through, most of them passing by with relatively little trouble, except for one of them, Joe, got left behind, stuck in the gnarled branches, and ended up encountering a person who seems to be either from or part of or both of the Bramble. And we'll just go ahead and start there, but not with Joe, because that would be too easy. We're going to go to the group instead, where they have just realized Joe is not with them. It seems to be just the three wandering around in this thicket.
Joe?
Joe, where could she have gone? We were all together.
We should have kept a closer eye on her. She could be anywhere.
Oh, I could try and, I don't know. We could just backtrack. I mean, it's not like look, and Alpaca just like gestures back to where we came from, and our footprints are all over the place because this place is covered in ashes.
Question mark?
There's like knuckle shapes in front of like the balls of Alpaca's feet prints and stuff like that. It's just And they just like from here to there because she was like leaping and jumping because she was playing hopscotch.
Yeah, none of us, I think, were moving in a straight line just because of the nature of the bramble and the fact that it's alive and aggressive. Our steps are all over the place, so I think it's going to be pretty
Yes.
difficult to
Let
just
it hit.
backtrack.
Red Robin.
Silence. Violet, I would
Copyright.
say, as everyone's looking through here, so overhead where the branches meet and they kind of curl in knots above, blocking out any what little light there was, honestly, outside, because it's so thick with just this gray fog that you couldn't even see the sun initially. But it's even darker in here. You can see that there are, of course, some shadows that naturally occur from the branches and from yourselves. But then you notice that there seem to be a couple of shadows here and there that kind of take their own shape that doesn't make sense, and they move about kind of just at random.
Is Alpaca still glowing? That's supposed to last for, quote, a few hours.
Yeah, I would definitely say Alpaca is definitely glowing. So these shadows are kind of moving almost against that light, as if they have like a will of their own. It seems Quill and Alpaca do Quinn. Did I say Quill? Quinn and Alpaca do not note this.
And
We don't?
You don't.
no, you don't. But I do, and
Oh,
I
the shadow
would
people, got it.
Yeah, I would. These are the unseen, and I would like
Bum,
to
bum, bum,
talk
bum,
to them.
bum, bum, bum. Are
I'm
you
gonna
ready?
I'm gonna roll commune with the unseen. I am supposed to perform some sort of ritual. I don't think that I have anything fancy, but when I want to talk to them, usually I'm on the path, right? The path that I found.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I have a candle with me that I light, and I sit down next to it and sort of just control my breathing and try to focus on them in order to commune with them and talk to them. And that is a move that I have as a spooky witch.
Spooky witch.
And that's a 12, I want to say. Yeah.
Ooh,
That's a 12. So
beautiful. What would you like to do?
yeah, my options, just so everyone knows, I can hide something in the unseen world. Not great. Learn something important from the unseen. Temporarily alter the metaphysical nature of a place.
Whoa.
And ask a question from figure out a person of anyone, anywhere, if you can name one of their deceased loved ones. So I get to choose two because it's a 10 plus. I'm going with learn something important from the unseen. I'd like to know where Joe is, as well as temporarily alter the metaphysical nature of the place. I just want to make it less aggressive so that we can move through it.
Just like shadow
so
hedge trimmers. Meow.
Yeah, or like they calm the branches and vines and like stuff like that. I'll let Keisha decide.
Excellent. Yeah. So you successfully reach out to these shadowy figures. Initially, they almost seem shocked that someone can see them, let alone speak with them. But then this actually encourages them to step forward. As they approach, they kind of take on a bit more of a distinct shape. Again, a bit more humanoid. They're still a bit kind of fuzzy and vague. There's not really details, as those have been lost with time. But you can see one that seems almost about your height, so relatively tall, a little bit hunched, so perhaps if they straighten, they may be a bit taller, a bit of a fuller figure. And then the second one seems much smaller with a more like large roundish head and what seems to maybe be kind of like a tail as they're kind of like hopping around a bit. But you reach out to them. Do you like speak out loud when you talk to
I
the MC?
do. It's very conspicuous, and people find it unnerving most of the time. So I speak out to them, and I say, "Hello, my name is Violet. I was wondering if you could help me."
And the one that's about your eye level, if it were to have eyes, is the one that approaches you, and you kind of see the movements as if it's kind of looking at you and the other two that are with you, kind of taking stock of what's happening, and you hear this gravelly voice respond to you. Oh, it's been some time since someone spoke to me. Yes, a pleasure. Violet, ma'am.
Do you have a name?
Oh, yes, I had a name. Don't remember what it was, so I gave myself a new name.
Well, I
Oh.
suppose that's reasonable.
That seems to have slipped my mind again, darn it. Ma'am? You can just call me Bob, I suppose.
Bob. It's very nice to meet you, Bob. It seems that you're very lonely in this bramble.
No, yeah, a bit, yes. It's
I can't. I love him so much.
when you find company in yourself, are you really lonely? The answer's yes, by the way, yes.
I'm sorry to hear that, Bob. I know how I can be, not being able to speak with others, though usually it's just because they didn't want to talk to me. But I'm here with some of my friends who you may have seen, and one of them is missing, and I imagine that you know this place rather well, and you could help me find her. Her name is Jo. She's big, and she was purple. She's not anymore.
What is she now, if not?
I guess she's gray. She's wearing a cloak that's also gray, even though she said she's not supposed to wear it. The whole thing was very confusing. And she's got like brown leather armor on, and a broken sword that she seems to carry for some reason. It's like our organization could definitely get her a new sword, so I'm not sure why she insists on using the broken one.
I've just caught up. I think Violet's doing that thing where they talk to the unseen folk, and much like Fanta.
Yes, you both notice the one side of this conversation, for sure. They seem to be
Ask
kind of
them-
speaking in a general random direction.
Ask them what their favourite meal is.
Oh, my friend would like to know what your favorite meal is. I guess. What do you eat? Can you eat?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't tried. Probably this dirt here that looks
I think
appetizing.
we might have some sunflower bread left. Alpaca.
They
you
like
want some
sunflower.
bread?
They like sunflower.
Well, they don't.
She reaches into her pouch and
Here.
pulls out another sunflower cake.
Oh,
They don't. They don't.
I was
know what
gonna
to
say
like.
they could have mine.
I have more.
I'm not
don't
eating
worry.
it currently.
You save that for later. It's for you.
I grab a sunflower cake from whoever's closest to me
Somebody.
and just
Me.
extend it out. Into
Alpaca's
what
like
appears
this
to
far
be-
away from your face.
Right. So just holding
Big
it out
glasses,
in a,
big eyes, just like blinking behind the glasses, and it's like sounds like a little piano plink, plink, plink.
Oh, all right. And you see the shadow kind of lean down, move about your hand, and then you just kind of see what seems to be the head just kind of go, home. Doesn't use its arms or anything. It just home. But as it leans forward and then leans back, it's still in your hand. You see that the shadow has just kind of gone through instead of actually consuming it. And he goes, "Oh, that was so delicious. I'm sure. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. That was a good essence.
Essence. Fascinating. I wonder what other essences taste like.
No,
guess-
there are some things that you really don't want to know.
I guess that's fair.
Everything's got an essence. It's like love. It's all the time, everywhere.
I'm gonna take a bite of this honey cake that I have in my hand after Bob has consumed the essence, and I want to know if that changes the flavor at all once the essence is gone.
You would definitely note that it's much less flavorful. It's still like there, but it's almost like a ghost of itself in a way with the way it tastes.
Wait, did they eat it?
They did. Try it. They didn't eat like the physical form of it, but they took the flavor.
Ask them about the meteorite.
I asked them about Joe.
Okay,
No.
fine.
They
I
don't-
already
they
forgot
can't.
about that. Yes. No.
Yeah, the unseen
Sure.
ones, they can't appear for extended periods of time. So I feel like we should focus on finding Joe.
Yes. Well, I do recall seeing a person with cape. And I don't know what brown is, but I assume if that's what brown is, yeah, wearing brown. Sure.
I look around trying to offer you something brown, and it's like I'm so brightly colored. And Alpaca's so brightly colored, and it's like I guess that's good enough.
Very well, let's go this way. Nope. Let's go that way. Yes, I'm pretty sure. And the shadow wanders off in a direction. And of course, they don't have to dodge any of the bramble. They just go right through it, leaving you guys kind of having to have to scramble and we have to do this again.
Scramble through the bramble.
Scramble through the bramble.
Alpaca can scramble all right, and she takes a whisk from her belt and flips it around a few times, and the light of the sun shines for a brief moment, and it becomes a very large, what we would call a silicon spatula, but has a very sharp edge, and she begins scrambling the bramble to get through it.
Amazing. I love that so much.
For you,
Talk about adding flavor.
Yeah, it's a multi. Her sword is a multi-purpose sword. I have lovingly modeled it after the idea of like a Gerber set of pliers, which is essentially a Swiss Army knife with like everything in it. It's an amazing product. Personally, not sponsored, but it's my multi-tool, my multi-sword, my. What? Never mind.
As you're chopping away the bramble, that other shadow that was noted earlier didn't speak or anything, but you do see Violet. That one is kind of bouncing around and just kind of like bopping and tapping and like swirling around the bramble so that it seems like it's kind of pulling back as you guys are making your way through. And all of the little snares and pokies and thorns and everything are shrinking so that you guys aren't like slicing yourselves to pieces as you're making your way through. So you make your way in the direction where you're hoping Joe is supposed to be. Every now and then Bob goes, "Oh, where am I going? Oh, oh, that's right."
The other way we just came from. Oh.
Maybe you make a couple of literal circles a couple of times, but it's okay. Hopping over
An
to
aerial
where
view would
Joe
be
is.
amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely in no rush as I'm about to be impaled on a sword. It's fine.
No, I think this is a good time to hop over to you. You were snagged by a branch and you managed to hack it away. But as you turn, you find yourself face to face, or rather face to point, with another being of some sort. This scraggly looking form, much like the bramble itself, with what could be maybe hair that's just little branches poking out from atop its head. It's very like upturned, very narrowed eyes looking down at you with a very large thorn in their hand, pointed.
Joe will drop her sword, assuming that by cutting the branch is what pissed the bramble person off. So drop it down and kind of hands up, and just like what you would a cop would tell you to do, because she's kind of a former cop. She's
Okay.
so she's like, I know the drill. Drop it.
ACAB.
Always a cab.
Fuck the police.
Would you want to try to figure out a person as a move, or do you just kind of want to?
Yeah, I do kind of want to. I think that that's the initial reaction, is I just go to this
Okay.
position that is like, hey, hands up. But yes, I would sort of like to assess my situation, although I am not great with wit, but why not try?
It's entirely your choice.
I'm doing it. Oh, and I got a 4 and a 6 again, so that is 10.
Excellent. Okay, let's see. Here, I was literally just on it. Okay, so you may ask 2 questions now or later in the scene.
I think she'll say, I'm very sorry to offend you. Is there something I can do for the branch that I have hurt?
And the being standing before you noted that, you dropped your sword. You're trying to be like, hey, let's talk this out. They kind of lower their thorn just a little bit, but then they kind of lower it more downwards towards where there's little splashes of color on what you're wearing. And they kind of, using that long thorn, they like lift a little bit of fabric that was like torn and caught from earlier that's just kind of like hanging down at your side. And they just kind of like lift it up a little bit, and they say, it's not that upsets me. It's this. Why is it not gray? This is odd.
I just arrived back, and it will probably go gray eventually. Back, and Joe shows her hand, and like I did, but these clothes aren't from here like I am.
Is there a second question that you wanted to ask as well?
Are you offended by the color?
Not offended. And they kind of lower their thorn even lower, and you can see a tinge of sadness on their face. I used to be like that, with not gray, but it's gone, and now I'm not what I'm supposed to be.
Me too. Joe asks if she can reach down, and not aggressively, but I have something on my sword that I'd like to give to you if you're okay with that.
And they kind of take a step back, suspicious, but kind of nods.
She bends down, and from
Oh my
the
God.
hilt of her sword, we discovered last time that she has a ribbon that is, I'm going to say it's purple because she is purple, and she unties it from the hilt of her sword and says, would you like this? I don't know
And
how long it'll keep its color, but it can be yours.
immediately their face just lights up entirely, seeing that ribbon. And they completely lower that thorn, dropping it to the ground, and they very timidly, with very just shaking, frail fingers, kind of reach out. They're still seeming to maybe expect some kind of trick, perhaps, or something, but they reach out.
Yeah, she before she even reaches out again, she puts her sword like in however she carries it. Maybe it's a scabbard or something, but it's would be ill-fitting.
It's been
But and
sheathed.
then yes. And then just hands just the ribbon out with her hand.
The ribbon falls into their hands and they hold it up, and you just see them like rub it against their cheek, just pure delight on their face. And then they slide it around their neck, not really sure, knowing what to do with it, kind of wearing it almost like a scarf.
Mhm.
And they hold it very close, and then you see them just take in a really deep breath and then release. And it seems like it's more than just a breath. It seems like they're releasing so much more than that. As if this little piece that you have given them, this little ribbon, was something that they just needed for who knows how long. And with that breath, you can see that ashen bark begins to fall to pieces, and underneath you can see this bright green. And it's almost as if you're kind of watching this person bloom, like literally. As that bark falls away, underneath is what is like a flower, but as a person. The branches atop their head break off, and you can see petals of hair suddenly sprout from their scalp and then runs down their backside. You can see little leaves like appearing all across their skin in place of that dried up bark. And you can see their frail, just withered body become fuller and more full of life.
I'm in a
They
glass
have-
case of emotion.
Joe just says, "You're beautiful."
And you see the person before you. Once they were a wither wilt, and now they are a bloom, the way they're supposed to be. You see them smile so shyly, little tinges of red on her cheeks, and she reaches out with her new green hands, like the way they're supposed to be. Just again, covered in little tiny leaves, and they just like cup your face very gently. And she reaches down to press her forehead against yours in thanks.
Yay.
Thank you.
It's been so long. I've forgotten what this was like to be a bloom and to have warmth in this bramble. We never see or feel the sun, and you brought a little of it to me. Thank you.
That's my friends. I got lost from them, but that's what we would like to try to do.
That is a very beautiful thing. If there's any way that I can help, I would love to be able to.
We just need to get into the city. I think that we need to talk to Empress Constance, and maybe you could point me in the direction of my friends.
I know, almost as if on cue, you hear movement behind you guys, and you turn to see the other three appearing almost seemingly out of nowhere from the bramble. And you three see Joe and this beautiful flower person standing
Joe,
right next to Joe.
we found you. And
Alpaca's still
friend?
lit up like a party disco ball. Like a little sun. Just like, oh.
Quinn has started to like retract their sword out of their hiding spot, like pulling it out, seeing this creature with Joe.
Did you make a friend?
Yeah, did you make a friend?
Well, they're rather
Yeah.
colorful.
They are. They're really colorful.
What's going on here, Joe?
You're pretty. Sorry.
Oh.
And the flower person said that they were a bloom, right?
Yes.
This is a bloom, and they just needed a little bit of color.
Nice to
And I
meet
was
you, a
able to-
bloom. I'm Alpaca.
And Bloom, like, also kind of like shyly looks down and then like looks back at Alpaca and they say,
Up?
I love your colors. You're so vibrant.
Oh, thank you. I like my colours too. I collect them from all over the place. They kind of look at they're taking in this bloom, of course, and see the little ribbon scarf around the bloom's neck, and immediately places it, and just kind of like looks at Joe. Well, that was very important to you. That was very nice.
It was, they needed it, and I had it. And it's important, I think, to make sure that people have the right boxes for the right people, like you were saying, Alpaca. Over the fence, some people
Yeah,
need 2 boxes and some don't need any boxes.
yeah.
I
That's what
I
love
didn't
is.
I didn't need it. They needed it.
Is the other wither still behind?
Oh, the Bob?
No, no, not Shadow.
Or
Weren't there two of them? Or am I
the
misunderstanding?
I know there were two shadows. I
The
believe you only
wither. I thought there was
Oh,
like
the Wither
another one that was
Wolves?
holding a thorn. Sorry.
No,
It
that
was the
was
same one
Bloom.
with the thorn,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Sorry.
Yeah. No good.
I
You're good.
misinterpreted.
I
Apologies.
will point out that if either of you wants to become smitten with this bloom, there's a mechanic for that where you have to reveal things about your character.
That is always an option.
All
I
right.
am
Yeah, I mean, like already. She's real. They're cute.
So for Alpaca, you're the sun hand. So if you want to become smitten, one you give them a string on you, and your question is what unwise thing do you think you could do to impress them?
Oh no.
Unwise.
Yeah, what unwise thing do you think you could do to impress them?
Do you want some of my color? Like, which one do you want? I could give you the whole thing if you want. Like, I've got a yellow shirt, and I've got that going on, and I've got this going on. This is hot pink. This is blue. This is green. This is, well, I'm not sure what that is. It's either an indigo or a cyan. This one is chartreuse. It's like starts like taking off their clothes in the middle of the bramble forest.
Yeah, the bloom is just like
And this
just
one and
watching
that
this
one, or
happen.
this one, or maybe you don't. Oh, you've already got a color. You've already got a purple, so you probably don't need a purple. Well, then you need a blue and a green and a yellow and an orange and a red and a sunflower cake.
The bloom would come up right next to Alpaca and just very, very gently like place a finger on Alpaca's lips and then drop the finger down to their chest and say, I like this color.
Oh, the pale part, because the rest of me's blue. There's some reds too. There's like a circle here and a circle of red here and all over the place. Sometimes people look at me and they say, "Where's that circle going?" You're cute. Alpaca has no grace, by the way.
That's quite okay. The bloom finds this very adorable and very endearing.
What's your name?
Oh, well, I have just remembered that my real name is Alila.
It's a really pretty name.
Thank you. And while this confrontation is
Just like
happening, whatever you want to
hearts.
call it, this like yeah, little hearts.
Heart bubbles, yeah. They're like they're like helping Alpaca place their clothing back upon their body because they're basically standing there in like a loincloth. Their flowers are all over like the sacks are everywhere. It's a bit of a mess. But strangely enough, her multi sword is still hanging off of her hip on her belt. Somehow all the clothes came off, but the belt did not.
But the
It's
belt.
very strange.
Nice. Violet,
Now
you see
they have
that...
a string on me.
Excellent, yes. I will take note of that. Violet, you were the only one, of course, that sees Bob. He managed to lead you guys back to Joe, and he actually almost seems shocked at this. He's like, oh, yes. I thought we were going the wrong way for a while there, but apparently this is correct. I have no idea where I am all the time.
Oh, you certainly had me fooled, Bob. Seemed very confident the whole way.
Oh, good to know. Well, if you need anything else from me, just call my name. 3 times? Is that how it's done? I think it is. Try, give that a whirl and see what happens.
Is Bob just quiche as an old man?
I hope
An
so.
adorable little old man. Is this who you're going to be when you grow up, quiche?
These are my goals, my personal
That's exactly
goals.
what I want to be too. Can I also be Bob? Grunkle Bob.
Grunkle Bob.
Yeah, Violet just says, anytime, Bob. I hope to speak to you again soon.
Me too. Well, no, I speak to myself too much already. I hope I get to speak to you. Good day. And he floats away into the bramble.
Violet waves bye to Bob, and Phantasm on Violet's shoulders waves their little tail.
This is a player question, but does the little hoppy one follow after Bob, or?
No, I think that one is still bopping around, just like bouncing around on branches, kind of just watching the whole time, not really
Getting
interacting.
buffeted around by all of the fucking rays coming off of Alpaca.
So the bloom does eventually kind of remind themselves where they are and looks over at Joe and says, "Oh, you said that you needed help finding something."
These were the people I was looking for, and just amazing coincidence. We all found what we needed. Do you know the way? If you could just maybe point me in the direction of the gate to Lackluster, we do need to go in there, no matter how hard, and we don't want to do it.
I can certainly lead you all there. I won't be able to get close, though.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What are you doing out here? How is it that you've been out here outside of Lackluster for so long, and how did you even have the opportunity to regain your colors in a place like this?
Well, this is our home. All of the witherwilts here used to be blooms, but when the trees here lost their leaves, so did we. We don't really know why. It happened ever since that place, and she kind of indicates the direction where you assume must be the direction of the city. Ever since it had gone so gray, it kind of bled out into our forest. And we are part of the forest, and it's part of us. We can't leave it. But when it's not well, we aren't really either. I don't really fully know why I'm a bloom again, but I think it's because of Joe and perhaps her act of kindness. It's It's been so long. Maybe that's what it was?
I'm glad that you were able to find yourself and come back. Something else I'd like to ask, if that's okay. Is there something from this forest that we can take with us to use when we present to Empress Constance? I'm wondering if maybe we can prove that there was once, like, color and vitality here, and that Constance is stripping that from this area, and that could be a rather good bargaining chip to have literally in our pocket, if that's something that we can take from you.
And Alila holds out her hand, and within her palm, you see little seeds appear, and then immediately they sprout, and then they grow, and then they fully become 3 flowers that she picks. She gives one to Quinn, she gives one to Violet, she gives one to Joe. And then she turns to Alpaca and she cups her hands, and a lotus appears, a very large one that she holds out for Alpaca.
Alpaca's eyes are enormous behind her round glasses. Just like, oh. And just like very ever so gently, just like you're trying to move a sleeping cat. Just like,
And do not disturb.
don't wake up, don't wake up.
Precious. I hope that helps.
Thank you.
These are
Wow.
beautiful, Alila. Thank you so much.
It's so pretty.
Will this change be permanent for you, or will you eventually succumb to the ashen again?
I guess that's hard to say, but I believe that now that I remember who I am and who I truly am supposed to be, who I want to be, and what my colors are, as long as I don't forget that, I think I'll be okay.
It's almost like you were asleep and then you woke up.
Yeah. It's much like
I
that.
understand.
Did you know that you could pop the seeds of a lotus like popping corn
Ooh,
and
Oh.
eat him?
didn't know that.
You can eat pretty
Keisha
much
did
every
not know
part of a
that.
lotus. You can pretty much eat every part of a lotus. The roots
Cool.
and the flowers and the
I
leaves.
knew about the roots. Yeah, cool.
Alpaca just
The
like
more you
buries
know.
her whole face in the lotus and just goes,
Excellent.
and just kind of like mouths on a flower on a petal.
Alila would look at Quinn with concern and say, I see that you have lost your color. I hope that you find it. Truly find it.
Are they offering me emotional support?
Well, since you're asking, why
That's
not?
my emotional support bloom. I'm kidding.
Great, because I'm about to get some feelings from that.
No, feelings.
Hey.
So they can do their role.
Okay. So rolled a 10.
Okay, great. If they rolled a 10 plus, they know that they got through to you. They still gain the benefits of a 10 plus as if I had opened up to them. Basically, I'm pretending like I don't care about that. Very stoically.
Okay.
But they can tell otherwise that really struck a chord for me. And now I have feelings.
Oh, feelings are the worst.
They are the worst.
I think they're the best. Alpaca thinks they're the best.
Quinn certainly does not.
They really are. They really are the best, though. Okay.
Yeah. I think that probably that Joe also just gets the slightest bit lavendery, like off of the gray. Just
Aw,
like it just warmed
really
her heart
sweet.
a little bit.
You blushing.
That's cute.
I don't know. Am I blushing? I thought everything was gray.
You're kind of purple. Lavender again.
A little less gray now.
Well, that's a great change.
Yeah, I
Thank
get
you,
Great.
it.
Bloom.
Great.
Great.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Alpaca breaks the fourth wall again.
I think Alila, you helped me find some color too.
Good. And that's what Vivacia used to be about, is helping each other find themselves and encourage each other. And I think you all will be able to make a good change here. It is needed. Let us make our way towards what should be Vivacia.
Lead the way.
And
For
she turns
listeners
and
who may
maybe
not. Sorry, go ahead.
she's definitely gonna sashay a little bit, being in front.
I like to watch you go. For those listeners may or may not remember, and my fellows may or may not remember from last episode, that Alpaca is 4'10" and also walks around on the balls of her feet and her knuckles, much like a little monkey. And she has like a little monkey tail, technically. So, but last session she said, "All I can see are asses." It's kind of her favorite part about being so small.
It is noted that Alila has nice rose hips for sure.
A pun and a dirty. That's my favorite combination.
I did it.
Violet is going to walk next to Alpaca and sort of lean down and whisper like, "Way to go."
And she just like giggles like a very Seth Rogen like.
So cute. Oh my
It
gosh.
echoes in the bramble a little bit.
Her whole face her cheeks just turn like very blue, and she's like.
Aw. So Alayla can
Excuse me.
guide us to the castle or the wall, I mean?
Yes, so with Alila's help, as
Leela,
well
sorry.
as Violet managing to find signs of an old road, together you're all able to reach the wall, or rather the edge of the bramble where it stops, and it's probably a good 12 feet of just nothing between the bramble and the wall itself. It's very obvious that there are those, probably enforcers of sorts, that specifically clear out the bramble if it tries to get too close. You can see the very clear signs where they've been cut and hacked away so that there is that distance.
Well, they do have a landscaper.
Of sorts. Alila turns to the group and kind of gives like a little nice curtsy and says, "Thank you again for what you've done. I'm going to go back into the bramble and try to see if I can't help my own blooms. You've given me a very special gift, and I'm not going to forget it. So thank you." And she turns to Alpaca specifically, and she kind of leans forward and she says, "And hopefully when things are better, and things are more lush, and maybe if the force is back to normal, I would really like to see you again, if that's quite all right."
Yeah.
And she leans forward, and she doesn't lean all the way, but she closes her eyes as if for a kiss.
Oh,
But
and
it's more of a question.
Alpaca's on that.
All right.
Just like Alpaca gets up on the balls of her feet, and she's just like, and she just like dips her.
Oh my god, our first romance.
Yay.
The first of the game.
Alpaca's tail just like wraps around her leg as they
Oh,
do.
it's so cute.
Aw. Immediately, Alila embraces Alpaca, and you can feel all of those petals in her hair just kind of like coil around you, so that you guys are kind of encased in this just flowery little bubble.
There's like
For just a
sakura
few
flowers
moments.
falling across the camera like in an anime. The music swells.
Someone's playing a flute somewhere.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Alpaca will gently put her back upon her feet and drop back down into a crouch, face just completely blue. Yeah, sorry, I got a little overzealous. You taste nice.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lingering floral taste in your mouth for a little bit. And with a final farewell, Alila leaves the party and walks back into the bramble.
Bye, Alila. Say
Just
hi to
like
Bob for me.
wiggling her
I
fingers.
imagine she doesn't know Bob.
It's
Probably has
just
no
kinda
idea
like-
Bob exists.
Wow.
So you find yourselves facing this giant wall of just
Someone has to like reach
solid
down
steel.
and turn Alpaca around.
Like, okay, back to business. All right. So you are facing a part of the wall, and perfectly, of course, in the center is this gate. And on either side of this gate are two enforcers. Joe and Quinn, you immediately know that's what they are due to that standard uniform that they are each wearing, a spear in each hand, perfectly at the ready. But you can kind of see that they have taken note of your party.
Do either of us recognize either one of them?
I would say that Quinn, you
Mhm.
recognize the one on the right specifically. That one seems very, very familiar. You remember that very, very strong face of hers. You remember growing up with her, actually.
What is it called when they like take you away to change you?
Get fixed.
Oh, yeah, to get fixed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the fixers.
Spayed and neutered, baby.
Do I know them from that? Are they fixer?
You recall that they were taken to be fixed. And they had been different ever since.
Okay, what's their name?
So the one that you recall, her name is Stoica.
Stoic. Great.
Clever, I know.
Gay.
So I kind of put my arm out to stop everybody, and I say, I know that one. Stoica. We grew up together, and I think we might have been friends at one point. But then they went to get fixed, and then nothing was ever really the same after that.
Alpaca
can try and
immediately thinks
speak
of
with
like
them.
spay or neutering. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. We can try and speak with them. I think our best bet is to do whatever we can to try and get in front of Empress Constance. Whether that's causing trouble or just being diplomatic, I'm not sure.
I can try. I can try and make some bread that will, the smell of it just kind of makes you, kind of diminishes those feelings of aggression. If that will help with the negotiations.
It's worth a try.
Okay. All right. Reaches in a pouch, smashes some flour into her palm, and just starts like making dough.
It's so cool.
It's on the spot.
Okay. I rolled a what is it? Oh, plus daring. Okay. I've got a 1 to daring. So that is an 8. So a 7 to 8. I choose one type of bread, but I can't make that bread again this session. And that's fine.
Okay.
I will make a sugar crust bread. It is soft, it is fluffy. I imagine that it is like a shiny, kind of lightly glazed challah bread, and the scent diminishes feelings of aggression in all those that smell it. And it just like an alpaca, as they braid it into existence and bake it, it's just like with her tail and her hands just like wafting the scent to like go to leave there where they are where they are just outside the brambles, and it's just the scent just like starts floating all over the place. And they hold it in their
Excellent.
hands, and they
You
just
can
like break.
You can literally see like the little wisps kind of reaching over towards those two guards, and both of them just, oh, and kind of like look at each other like, what, where did that come from?
Oh, now
And
or never.
their shoulders kind of like relax just a little bit. Their posture seems a little bit more relaxed and less so just like, oh, at attention.
Quinn, you know Stoica. Do you want to try?
I suppose I can give it a shot, although I think your name will throw a little bit more weight around here than anything I would have to say.
I'm not familiar with her, so I think maybe you would have more.
You may not know her, but it's fairly likely that she knows you.
Only in a wanted poster kind of way.
Alpaca leans over to Violet and like just kind of tugs on Violet's. You're wearing a robe or a skirt, right? It's yellow, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a long dress with
Yeah.
like slits up the
She
side.
tugs on the side of the dress, and when you lean down to listen, she goes, "Are they flirting? Is this like a comparison thing? Are they gonna kiss?"
I don't know. I can't tell.
I can't tell if I can't tell either. She just like rips a piece of a hunk of the challah bread off and just like offers it to Violet, and a piece for Fanta as well.
Yeah, I just take both. Give the one to Phantasma.
Alpaca's hand just comes up between Joe and Quinn with 2 hunks of challah bread.
This
Quinn
time,
ignores it.
Just take the bloody bread.
Joe takes it this time and takes a bite because otherwise it's going to end up in the dirt, and she knows that now.
Did you ever
She's learned that
Did you ever
lesson.
tell Alpaca that you
No.
lost your cake?
No, never.
Poor Alpaca.
Alpaca would have given you another one immediately. Be like, "Oh, that's all
Yeah.
right."
Yeah, but Joe starts munching on it. It's very good.
It is very soft, very fluffy, very layered and very flaky. That's a really
Challah.
It's a sweet challah, but oh my god, I fucking love challah.
I suppose I can. I suppose I don't really want to. I don't know if this is the best path for us. What if it goes poorly?
And we'll fix it.
Yeah.
Failure and success are just happenstance. There's just instances. It's not the end. Besides, I've got like 12 more hunks of this thing.
And we don't know if
Okay.
we don't try, right?
Yeah.
You got this, Quinn.
I'll try. Here we go. I walk kind of slowly towards Stoica and kind of wait for them to like notice me, like catch my eye.
Alpaca not getting it is just like following along beside you. Just like
Reach down and grab Alpaca by the back of whatever her clothing.
you can just like grab
Just, like stop them.
Yoink!
just like walking in the air, just like a slide whistle.
Yeah.
This is a solo activity. Sorry, Alpaca.
Oh. Can you put me down, please?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Quinn, you walk up to Stoica, and when you face Stoica, there's immediate recognition in her eyes. There's a faint twinge in the back of your mind as if you're trying to kind of remember the color that Stoica was supposed to be, was supposed to represent and imbue. But it was so long ago, and it was so brief that you can't quite remember. Stoica looks down at you. For Stoica is rather tall. And though that aroma was nearby, you know, she's not acting aggressive towards you by any means, but you can immediately see that cold, hard look in her eyes. Almost even more than that, disappointment seeing Quinn again. And Stoica simply sighs and looks to the side, not really speaking almost directly towards you, as if she's kind of speaking to the enforcer beside her, but very clearly meant for you. You hear her say, Oh, it seems that someone has come back so that they can, I suppose, abandon their friends once again.
Hello, Stoica. It's been a while.
It has been, Quinn.
Alpaca is popping lotus seeds in the background and like sharing the popped lotus with everybody. Like, just
Watching the show. You were so desperate to leave, and yet here you are again. Why?
Yes. Okay, this is a perfect opportunity for me to use a playbook move,
Mm.
and I'm going to use the mask. I'm
I
going
love it.
to seek to persuade an NPC a lie about myself. So I'll say the lie first, and then we can do the rolls and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I look at them and I say, I kind of put my head down a little bit and put my eyes to the ground and look a little dejected as I say, I left because I truly believed that self-same was not for me and that I needed individuality in my life, but after going out in the world and seeing the chaos and seeing the colors and how everybody just does whatever they want all the time, I realized that this is actually the place for me. And I've come back and I was hoping to ask Empress Constance to accept me back and speak with some of my compatriots as well. Do you think she would see me? So that's the lie. And I get to roll wit.
Wonder how the other three feel like, wait, what did Quinn say?
Yeah. So I got an 11, which means I get to choose two of these things. So, first of all, they believe the lie. And the lie that I've chosen is unexpectedly perfect, so it has created a new opportunity.
All right. So Stoica's demeanor changes almost immediately, like initially to slight shock, and then kind of catching herself, goes back to that blank slate of a face she's supposed to have. And she gives you a nod. I'm glad to see that you've seen sense.
I just felt like I was kind of floating in nothingness, and when I first left here, I felt like I couldn't be defined or put into such a rigid box, but now that I've been out there in the world and seen how formless it is, I understand now that I do want to be put into a box and do want to have that form.
And Stoica leans forward and very gently places a hand against your cheek and says, exactly, yes, this is how it's supposed to be, Quinn.
Don't like, reject.
Bad touch, bad touch.
Press X to doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, can I use this opportunity for another playbook move? I have deft fingers, so I can try and filch something from a person.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
Okay, it's a grace roll. That is 8. So I can choose one of these things. Let's also do that the item creates an opportunity, such as the map, key, note, etc.
Okay, let's say that you manage to snatch away some keys that she
Perfect.
has
So
on
yeah,
her
as
person.
they lean into me and put their hand on my cheek, I like try to not recoil as hard as I actually want to. And I take the opportunity to like reach my hand beside them and just like very delicately pluck the keys from their side and put them into my pouch.
Stoica removes her hand and leans back, seems satisfied that you've seen reason at last. Gestures towards the other three. Is it the same for them? Are they here to join?
I think they should speak to Empress Constance themselves. I do not speak for them. I'm simply showing them the way.
And Stoica would yell out to the rest of you, What business do you have?
Hi, Stoica!
Hmm.
Do you want
Quinn
some
said.
colour?
Well, we do have challah. It's delicious. But we're
Yeah.
here to speak. We're here to speak with the Empress.
For what reason?
I'm also from here. I used to serve Constance, and I would like to help her again.
And Stoica like glances down because you're still wearing colored clothing and kind of scrunches their nose a bit.
Just like wafting the bread.
It's hard to
Not aggressive, not aggressive, not aggressive.
it's hard to find
Till you
the right shade of gray elsewhere.
We will supply with appropriate clothing so that you
And-
can be presentable.
And these two are my friends, so I wanna help them, make them happy, or what, make them, whatever it is that you feel here.
Nothing.
Same.
Do they feel things?
We want to feel the same.
The same, yeah. To feel the same as everyone else, I guess.
Hungry?
No. I am only hungry when I am scheduled to be hungry.
What time is that?
2 hours.
You want some colour for later?
No.
Not even as a diplomatic kind of thing?
Especially no.
Oh my god, I love that so much. Diplomatic holla.
Just like literally just at her feet, just holding it up towards her. Are you sure? And it's just like wafting right into her nostrils.
A diplomatic holla.
Diplomatic holla.
There is a brief moment where it seems Stoica has to like fight with herself internally to not give in to the smell. She's never smelled anything like that before.
Alpaca's eyes are really big behind her round glasses and just shimmering like little bishy sparkles and stuff.
There's a moment where she actually lifts her hand as if she's about to reach for it, but then the other enforcer just and Stoica takes her hand back very quickly.
Do you want one too?
And you just hear the like as they shake their head.
Oh, you need a chiropractor.
So Stoica immediately snaps to attention, stands to the side, and says, "You may enter, but know that we will be watching you. All of you."
In like a sexy way? What we?
We would expect nothing less.
I mean,
And
there's
we'll be
nothing wrong with
sure-
voyeurism.
We'll be sure to get back on track as soon as possible. We'll change and be presentable for the Empress.
Your nearest clothing store, ACA. You can get appropriate clothing there. From Worker, ACA.
I know the place. We'll stop by there on the way.
Good. And they turn, and the two enforcers unlock the gate, creak it open so that you may walk inside.
As we go past, if I may, Alpaca would like to try and tuck the hunk of challah bread into the pocket of Stoica.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's gonna have to
As like the others are like kind of like
be something.
catching up. They're like they've got some like beeswax linen or something like that, and they wrap it up all nice and everything, like they're going to put it away and everything. And it's got like
I
a
feel
little.
like you already told us that you have 0 grace.
Well, no, well, honestly, if you want what's nice to them, it looks like a baked potato. But also, yeah, I want to try. Yeah, I'll use my
Yeah.
prehensile tail.
Okay, yeah, we can make this. I guess this would be another defy disaster move.
I was
dear.
thinking potentially
Or-
entice. Stoica has smelled it and is hungry for it, so I think
You know what? I
if
can
you're
even
successful-
use. I can even like use a move if you'd like.
Sensibilities.
Because I took oppositional defiance out of the Sun Handbook. You defy authority as a reflex. If someone tells you to do something, even if it's something you wanted to do, your instinct is not to do it. If you directly defy authority, gain a string on that person. If you comply, they gain a string on you.
Yeah? Yeah, whatever move you think fits best.
That
Let's go
that
for
fits definitely the best.
Yeah. I don't know what you roll plus. Oh dear.
Yes.
Does it say what to roll?
I think it just happens.
It just happens. Yeah,
It just
something that's not a
happens.
roll.
Yeah. They definitely feel me doing it. I am no grace. But I'm not negative grace. Let it be known. I'm negative heart. Because it's just right here. For those of you at home, I'm cupping my sleeve as if my heart was there.
So if you directly defy, you gain a string. Okay, so you have a string on Stoica.
Yeah, does not say that Alpaca would be successful in doing this, but the defying authority itself.
But
gives
I
you the
didn't
string.
comply. Yeah.
You didn't comply, and so you get the string either way.
You get the string. Okay.
Mine. I have a string on Alila, and I got a string on Stoica. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
And as she does that, she just kind of goes. She looks over her shoulder, whips some of her crazy red coils of red hair out of her face, and she's like, and does a little wink and keeps going. Her glasses shine like an anime evil villain.
Shing! Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic. It's not until after you guys have walked away from the gate a little ways, and then you hear that click of the gate again.
Oh geez, I thought it was that guy's neck.
It's at that point where, if you were to take a peek over your shoulder, Stoica does very deftly kind of take a little piece, and when the other enforcer's not looking, just
Yeah,
we
she
have
does.
an ally. She doesn't know it yet, but she is.
So you are now inside the wall. You are in Lackluster, City of Gray.
Thank you for joining us for another Even Footing Games Present, along with Potions and Potpourri, and we will catch you in our next part of Thirsty Sword Lesbians.